over yet.
The wind whispered through the hollow frames of broken skyscrapers, carrying with it the scent of wet earth and old memories. Tall buildings, once symbols of human ambition, now stood like wounded giants, rotted, bent, and wrapped in vines. Nature had reclaimed what humanity lost. Streets were cracked open, swallowed by greenery, and silence ruled where traffic and life once roared. Two figures walked carefully along an overgrown highway, their footsteps soft against the moss. A man, hardened by survival, moved with practiced caution. Beside him walked a young girl, her steps lighter but not careless. Each carried a backpack, their silhouettes small against the monstrous ruins behind them. The man's name was Elias, and the girl was Mira. For days they had traveled through abandoned cities, forests, and cracked farmlands. Their destination was a rumored safe zone on the other side of the broken metropolis. But rumor was all they had, hope disguised as a direction. Elias looked ahead, shielding his eyes from the gray sunlight leaking between the clouds. "You tired?" he asked. Mira shook her head. "No, I'm fine." Her voice had strength in it, more than a girl her age should have needed. But in a world that had collapsed 17 years ago, children learned young or they didn't survive at all. They walked until they reached an overturned car covered in moss. Elias raised a hand, signaling Mira to halt. The silence around them was too still, as if it was listening. Mira waited quietly while Elias crouched and inspected the ground. A fresh footprint. Another. Too heavy to be hers. Too recent to be old. "Someone's been through here," he murmured. "Friendly?" she asked. He shook his head slowly. "Doubt it." They had learned long ago that people could be more dangerous than the creatures roaming the shadows. Desperation twisted humanity faster than infection ever could. Elias motioned for her to follow. They slipped into the shell of a collapsed bus for cover. Inside, the air was thick with dust and memories, abandoned bags, torn seats, and the faint echo of panic from a time long past. Mira sat, hugging her knees. "Why do we keep running from people? There must be someone good left." "There are," Elias said, sitting opposite her. "But good people don't wander the ruins armed and hunting." Mira lowered her gaze. "Still, I'd like to believe." "You should," he said. "Hope's the only reason we keep going." She smiled faintly. "Is that your reason?" He hesitated. "You're my reason." Silence settled between them, warm despite the cold air outside. Dash dash dash. As evening crept across the sky, they continued through the city. The tall buildings cast long shadows, stretching across the broken road like fingers trying to drag them into the dark. They came across a fallen tower blocking the street. A huge gap in its concrete belly opened into a dark, sloping interior. "We'll have to go through," Elias said. Mira swallowed hard. She hated dark places. But she nodded. Inside, the air was damp and cold. Their footsteps echoed softly as they navigated through rusted beams and shattered floors. Sunlight pierced through the cracks above, lighting their path in pale stripes. "Elias," Mira whispered suddenly. He turned, hand on his knife. "What is it?" I heard breathing." He listened. The faintest sound, like something dragging itself across broken concrete, echoed from deeper inside. "Stay behind me," he ordered. But before they could react, something burst from the shadows, thin, twisted, almost human but not at all. Its skin was cracked and pale, its limbs too long, its eyes devoid of anything resembling life. Elias shoved Mira behind a fallen table and lunged forward. The creature screeched, swinging at him with jagged nails. He ducked, grabbed a metal pipe from the ground, and slammed it into the creature's head. It shrieked again, stumbling back. Mira, trembling, grabbed a rock and hurled it, striking it in the chest. The creature turned sharply toward her. "Mira, run!" Elias yelled. She scrambled back, heart thundering. Elias swung again, this time connecting with its skull. A sickening crack echoed. The creature collapsed, twitching once before going still. Breathing hard, Elias helped Mira up. "You okay?" "Why yes," she whispered. "Did we have a choice?" "No," he said. "Sometimes this world doesn't give us choices. Only consequences." They exited the building as the last light faded. Elias set up a small camp on a rooftop overlooking the ruined city. From there, they could see distant fires, other survivors, maybe. Or worse. Mira sat wrapped in a blanket. "Do you think the safe zone is real?" she asked. Elias considered. "I think people need something to believe in. And sometimes that's enough to make it real." She leaned against him, small and tired. "Tell me about the world before." He smiled sadly. "It was noisy, busy, people everywhere. You couldn't hear the wind or see the stars most nights." "Sounds nice." "It was," he whispered. "And maybe one day, it can be again." They slept under the open sky, one keeping watch while the other rested. Dawn arrived slowly, brushing the ruins in pale gold. By midday they reached the outer edge of the city, where nature had fully taken over, trees growing through cars, flowers blooming from cracked asphalt. It was strangely beautiful. As they crossed an old bridge, Elias spotted movement. 3 armed men stepped out, blocking their path. "Easy now," the leader said, smirking. "We're just looking for supplies." Elias pushed Mira behind him. "We don't want trouble." "Neither do we," the leader said, raising his gun. "But sometimes trouble brings opportunity." Mira clutched Elias's jacket. He whispered, "When I say run, you run." The man stepped forward. "Hand over the bags." Elias's eyes hardened. "Not happening." The leader aimed. And then, an explosion echoed in the distance. The bridge shook violently. Everyone froze. Birds burst into the sky. The men turned in confusion. Elias grabbed Mira's hand. "Now." They sprinted into the forest-side rubble, weaving between trees and broken concrete slabs. Behind them, the men shouted, but the chaos gave Elias and Mira enough of a head start to disappear into the thick brush. When they finally stopped, both panting, Mira looked up at him. "We made it," she said. "For now," Elias answered. "But we'll keep going, until we find something better." "And if there's nothing better?" she asked softly. He placed a hand